Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. I am so excited to show you guys this game, my game in round 4 of the Rilton Cup, because this game is completely insane. Let me show you what happened. So in round 4 I faced Lukas Dutzer from Austria, I believe, and I believe he's only 14 years old. He's born in 2010, and he is already rated 2425, and he's a FIDE master right now. So in my game, I played e4, c5, knight f3, d6, d4, c takes, knight f6, knight c3, a6, and this is the knight orb. So my opponent plays several openings. Well, it was mainly two different Sicilians, and well, it's possible that my opponent plays something else, right? But I mainly prepared for two different Sicilians, and this was one of them. So I was ready to play bishop g5, the bishop g5 knight orb. I don't have many games played in this because yeah, I don't really play this usually. So I thought, let's do this line instead. I have played so many moves on move 6 in the knight orb, but this was I've not played this often. At least I cannot recall. But anyway, my opponent played e6, f4, knight bd7, and after queen f3, king c7, I was slowly starting to feel like, wait, what I had prepared was mostly with the bishop e7 move included, because now long castle b5, and here I thought, I cannot recall this in my file. Like, suddenly I'm seeing some b4 ideas, and I just cannot remember what I had prepared, what the ideas are, and everything started to mix all together. And I didn't really know what to do with this. And then I thought, okay, I'm basically on my own here, so let's see what to do. Yeah, I don't really know what to do here other than I really want to play e5, because my opponent opened up the diagonal towards the rook, so why not? And I spent here, I believe, a total of around 30 minutes. I spent 30 minutes calculating if I want to play e5, yes or no. Because if once I play e5, which I did, I am basically forcing my opponent to play bishop b7. So I need to be prepared with this response. I need to be prepared what to do against this. Because basically, if I move my queen now, I'm losing the pawn on e5. So I need to have something to prove that e5 is okay. Now, the calculation that I had for the longest time is queen h3, which I played, d takes e5, knight takes e6, f takes e6, queen takes e6, bishop e7. And I remember this idea with queen h3, knight takes e6 because when I was preparing, I was seeing some of these lines, but I couldn't really quite figure out where I got this from and if it was in the same position as here or if it was some other position. But I remember these ideas with bishop takes b5 included as well. So look at this. A takes b5, knight takes b5, and I am down two pieces for 3 pawns. I had no idea if this was good, if this was horrible. Usually when you're playing against such an opening and you start sacrificing pieces recklessly, it's usually very bad. Especially if you're not prepared in this, or this is not your preparation, basically. I had no idea what was going on. During the game, I thought I was trolling. Because I really like sacrificing pieces. I am known for this. Well, sometimes I don't, but I really love it. And in this game, I thought, oh my gosh, like I'm helping my opponent in some way, maybe. Because my opponent didn't do anything wrong. At least that's what I thought. But yeah, I felt like if anyone is doing something wrong here, it's me. So I thought that there has to be a way for my opponent to counter this. But as we go on, guys, queen c6, he had to move the queen. Knight d6 check, king d8, f takes e5. So here, I'm attacking the knight on f6, and this king on d8 is very unsafe. My king is more or less safe for now, and it's really hard to see how my opponent can counter this knight on d6. It's a very strong piece. If my opponent starts taking on d6, then rook takes d6, and not only is the queen hanging, but rook takes d7 is a major threat. And as you can see, this is already completely losing for black. So black has to be really, really careful here. And my opponent found the best move in the position. I was thinking knight d5, but turns out that that's not so great because you just take, and then after knight takes, you just develop the rook. I did consider this, I was thinking of this, but still, you're not very sure, right? But yeah, my opponent did not play that either. I was thinking that knight d5 is probably a really good move, but my opponent went for king c7, which turns out to be an amazing move. I had no idea. I mean, I was surprised by this. I didn't think of this move at all because it hangs the bishop, right? It feels very counterintuitive, but of course my opponent can't afford this. And I thought, well, if I take on e7 now, then there's knight d5. And that is really annoying because knight b4 is incoming, and I have some issues going on here on the queen side. I would have to sacrifice material, rook d1, and then I thought, yeah, I don't really know. Queen takes e5, I don't know what to think of this. I really didn't like it. Apparently, I just take on b7. Yeah, okay. I did consider this, but I really didn't like it for some reason. I thought, yeah, I don't really want to get into that, even though I have like so many pawns on the board, right? So I went for bishop takes f6. I remember spending like around 20 minutes on this move as well. I spent so much time in this game. I spent so much time, and I think I was down like, I don't even remember. Was I down like 50 minutes at some point? I don't know, but it was a lot. It was a lot of time. But yeah, bishop takes f6 is the idea that came up towards the end of everything that I was thinking about. So I was calculating all of this, queen takes e7. I really want to take that. I really want to do that. But I couldn't really justify all of these moves. I didn't really like any of them because if I take on f6, then bishop takes d6, right? Then it's a lost cause for me. So that's why I ended up thinking, what about bishop takes f6? Because that knight is so annoying. I don't want a knight to jump to d5 and then to b4, so why not just take it already? Because if my opponent plays now bishop takes f6, then I can just take on f6, and yeah, my opponent has a really tough time defending the king here. Knight takes b7 comes next. The rooks are getting very active, and the queen feels very unsafe there. So that's why I thought, okay, well, and if knight takes f6, obviously I just take with check, right? So yeah, g takes f6 is what my opponent played, of course. I took on e7, and now rook takes a2. And it looks so scary because, yeah, my king is feeling a little bit unsafe here. And here I also spent quite some time figuring out what to do. Originally, I was going to play c4. That was the idea behind this whole plan. But as I was calculating queen takes g2, knight b5 check, so the only move here that is winning for black is king b6. And I was hoping that queen d6 check, king a5. I was hoping that I can somehow catch the king, but if you see after b4, king a4, knight c3, king b3. And I'm not winning that rook because if I take the rook, I'm checkmated. So yeah, I was like, what? I was trying so hard to make this work, but I don't have a move because I need to keep checking the king. Otherwise, it's either queen c2 checkmate, queen b2, or rook a1 checkmate. So there's so many checkmates in position, and I have a really hard time defending this. So then I basically had to neglect c4 and I had to move on from this and think of anything else. And then that's when knight takes b7 appeared in my thoughts because, yeah, if c4 is bad, I have to protect my king somehow, right? And I thought that by getting rid of that bishop, that's a really annoying piece. At least it can become really annoying. I'm opening up the rook towards that knight on d7. So maybe I can make something happen here. Rook a1 check, king d2, queen d5 check, king e2, queen takes g2. I was not entirely sure if it was either winning for me, like my king can run away, or if this is completely drawn, or if maybe my opponent has some crazy attack. So king e3, queen g5 check, king e2, queen g4 check, king d2, queen d4 check, king e2, queen e4 check, king d2. Here I was thinking, what about rook g8? So in the game, I was thinking of rook g8. Oh, there is queen takes d7. I forgot about that. Yeah, because I in my thought process, I was thinking that the queen is elsewhere, but of course it's queen takes d7 and you just win a piece. But I was thinking to run with my king to a safe square. I guess maybe in some other position where queen takes d7 is not a threat, but I can't really tell where because the queen has to be somewhere else then. But yeah, somewhere I was thinking that if rook g8 happens, then I'll just run with my king to c3 and my king is safe there because queen c6, knight c5. Rook takes d1, rook takes, queen takes, knight takes, and yeah, this should be a draw. This should be a draw. But of course, my opponent will try to play this out as much as possible. But yeah, none of that was going to happen because queen takes e7 is just winning here. But just illustrate what I was thinking about. My opponent played queen e5 check, king e2, queen g2 check, king e3. So yeah, I'm just moving back and forth, right? I'm either defending the rook as much as I can, or I'm just repeating to the same square that I just went to try to repeat the position. Because I could not really see how to run here. Also to note that after king d3, no, not here actually, a little bit later. After king e3, queen g5 check, if king d3 here, there's queen takes e5. And I was considering this move for the longest time. I was thinking of king d3 for the longest time. And then I saw queen takes e5 and I thought, okay, but that's not a big deal because even though I'm losing material, there's king e4. And I thought if rook takes d1, rook takes king takes b7, king f5. And this is quite an easy draw, I think. Well, I was thinking it was going to be an easy draw because I pick up the pawn f6 for sure. h7 is very vulnerable. I think I'm just taking that pawn, taking both pawns, and it's a draw. But then what I realized is if I do that, after knight takes king e4, there's rook a4 check. My opponent is not going to trade the rooks. My opponent is going to keep both pair of rooks on the board, and then it's suddenly not so easy because how am I actually going to win this? My king might get stuck because two rooks working together is really dangerous, and yeah, I may lose this. So that's why I had to disregard this whole idea and just move my king back and forth and forget about moving my king to d3. So queen g4 check, king d2, queen e4, and this was the moment that my opponent offered a draw. I was surprised because I thought, oh, he was not really trying to repeat moves. I thought he would repeat it in a different way. But then I realized, oh, he was trying to cross move 30, and that's when he offered a draw. So he offered a draw after move 30, this is move 31, and I accepted it. And yeah, I was so relieved. I was so happy because I thought, what if I messed up somewhere? What if he messed up somewhere and it didn't punish him? But then I got back to my room and I saw that this game was 100% accuracy. I have never seen a game that is like extremely forcing and like 30 plus moves long that is 100% accuracy. I have never seen it before. I mean, I guess it is possible, especially if it's prepared, but none of this was prepared. I just like did this at the board all by myself. And I remember seeing some of these ideas somewhere, but I really could not put it in the game. I really had no idea during the game, like what was going on and like was this even worth it? But I guess in the end you can say that it was worth it because I drew a 2400 and I'm really happy about that. So yeah, it was a crazy game. It feels less crazy now that I see that this position has been played a few times, so it's like not new. But yeah, it does feel really cool to come up with all of this at the board. So I'm really happy about that. And yeah, I continue to the last round of the year. So tomorrow is the 31st of December, and that's when I'll be playing round 5. So yeah, let's end the year on a good note already. Let's end the year on a good note. I'm so excited for tomorrow. I'm gonna get some rest now because my mind is blown today because I spent so much time, so much effort calculating everything. But yeah, turns out this was, the whole game was theory. So from not knowing any theory to playing 30 moves of theory, I mean, we'll take those. So yeah, thanks for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed the recap. Let me know if you have seen this theory of 30 moves yourself, if you are familiar with this opening, because I'm not. Not yet. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye!